Now we are going to discuss about, as a part of electric current, we are going to discuss about Kirchoffs current law. Kirchoffs current law is also known as Junction law, and Kirchoffs current law is based on law of conservation of charge. And this law is very simple. If we consider a junction, for example, I am considering this junction. I1, I2 is entering into the junction. I3, I4 are going out of the junction. This law states the sum of the currents entering into the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving out of the junction. A junction is a place where two or more roads meet. You might be knowing about junction very clearly. Now here in this instant, sum of the currents entering into the junction and sum of the currents leaving out of the junction. Kirchoffs current law is also known as junction law. It is based on law of conservation of charge. Sum of the currents entering into the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving out of the junction. Here I1 and I2 are entering into the junction. I3 and I4 are going out of the junction. Sum of the currents entering into the junction is equal to sum of the currents going out of the junction. We can write it as I1 plus I2. I1 and I2 are entering into the junction. I3 and I3 and I4 are going out of the junction. Now if this comes this side, I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 is equal to 0. So junction law is also known as Kirchoffs current law. This law takes place in junction, and here there are four currents. Two currents are entering into the junction and two currents are going out of the junction. Sum of the currents entering into the junction is equal to sum of the currents going out of the junction. I1 and I2 are entering into the junction. I3 and I4 are going out of the junction. Sum of the currents entering into the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving out of the junction. I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4. If they come this side. Thank you.